Behind the lights and camera, the Beijing morning sky was still shrouded in a light haze as the production crew of the historical drama Red Sky in the East began their activities on the set. The cold wind blew gently, caressing Song Zuer's hair, who was waiting for her turn to shoot in the corner of the makeup tent. His normally cheerful face now looked pale. A staff anxiously glanced at him, then ran a little towards Liu Yuning, who was preparing the script near the filming equipment. "Yuning Ge," he said in a panic. "Zuer Jie doesn't seem to be feeling well." Liu Yuning suddenly stood up. His face instantly turned tense. "Since when?" he asked, his voice calm but full of worry. "Just finished the last reading." He said his head was spinning. Without waiting long, Yuning walked quickly towards Song Zuer. As soon as he saw her, his expression softened, but the look in his eyes sharply examined the girl's condition. "Zuer, are you okay?" she asked softly, her voice changing as if talking to someone who meant a lot. Song Zuer smiled faintly. "Just a little dizzy. Probably due to lack of sleep." "Why didn't you tell me earlier?" Liu Yuning directly sat down next to him. He took off his long jacket and draped it over Zuer's shoulders. Then, without hesitation, he opened a small thermos from his bag and poured warm ginger tea into a paper cup. The few eyes of the crew who saw the scene immediately whispered to each other. "The camera is not on yet, but everyone's attention is already seized. If I told you, you would definitely tell me to go home," Song Zuer replied in a low voice. "And that you should have done. Your health is more important," Yuning said. He held Zuer's forehead and brought his face closer. "It's not too hot, but you look very tired." As Yuning's hand touched Zuer's cheek, a snap rang out from the distance. A young crew member accidentally hits his cell phone camera. His face panicked, but it was too late. He managed to capture the felt moment. Too intimate for just two co-workers. Rumors that can't be controlled. That afternoon, after filming was temporarily halted due to the weather, the crew returned to their respective lodgings. But the virtual world is already heating up. The photo of Liu Yuning enveloping Song Zuer in her jacket, touching her face, and looking at her attentively, all spread on social media. The hashtag Liu Yuning Song Zuer Langsing's became the #1 trending in a matter of hours. Comments start popping up. "Yuning's style is not the style of ordinary colleagues. That's really considerate boyfriend style. They're perfect, I swear. It hasn't happened yet. I'm not jealous, I just hate it because it's too sweet." Song Zuer's manager contacted him immediately that night. "Zuer, you have to be careful. Rumors are going wild." "But we didn't do anything," she replied softly, lying in bed with ginger tea still left on the table. "That's the problem. You guys seem to be doing nothing, in a way too romantic." At the same time, Liu Yuning's manager reprimanded him. "Have you forgotten that your every move is now being watched? You're not only a singer and actor, but also an idol. The slightest touch can mean a lot to fans." However, Yuning replied briefly, "If I didn't care, who else would care for her then?" The manager was silent. Can't argue with that sincerity. Too special treatment. The next day, attention to this pair increased even more. Although they tried to keep their distance during the filming process, many of the crew began to notice the little things. Liu Yuning always made sure Song Zuer had his favorite food at lunch. He will stand in the hot sun so that Zuer can get shelter. When Zuer coughed just a little, Yuning would hold out the water bottle faster than anyone. Even the camera behind the screen cannot hide the subtle but real intimacy. "Zuer Jie," said one of the makeup staff with a seductive smile. "Yuning Ge is like your girlfriend, right?" "Very nice." Song Zuer smiled stiffly. But her cheeks were red. "Not so," he muttered. But he himself wasn't sure of the answer. In the depths of his heart, that feeling began to grow. Slowly but surely. Hidden camera and unspoken gaze. 3 days after the viral photo appeared, the atmosphere on the set changed slightly. Although Liu Yuning and Song Zuer remained professional, the people around them now looked at things differently. There are whispers that can't be dismissed. there are sneaking cameras, and there are curiosities hanging in the air. Strangely, none of them seemed bothered. That evening, while a romantic scene between the main characters was being shot, the director decided to shoot a close-up without prior notice. "Let them improvise," he said softly to the cinematographer. As the camera rolled silently from behind the artificial bushes, it captured the moment Liu Yuning looked at Song Zuer in an undeniable way. A soft, quiet look, like someone who wanted to say something but didn't know where to start. Song Zuer replied with a faint smile that hung on his lips too long to be called mere acting. The clip was leaked to the internet 2 days later, captioned by a fan, "Original gaze or character?" The answer of the audience was almost unanimous. It was not acting. It's love. Clarifications that leave a question mark. With increasing pressure, the two agencies finally opened their voices. Liu Yuning Party released a brief statement. The relationship between Liu Yuning and Song Zuer is limited to professional colleagues who respect each other. There are no romantic relationships outside of work. Song Zuer issued a similar statement. However, the public is not easily convinced. A well-known gossip journalist from Beijing even wrote in his article, "If they are not a couple, then the world is missing the definition of the word attention." There was no other way to explain the way Liu Yuning looked at Song Zuer except with love. Fan comments are getting wild. If it's a coworker, why is Zuer the only one who always gets ginger tea from Yuning's personal thermos? This clarification makes it even more suspicious. What the hell are they hiding? Unexpected events on a rainy night. On the 40th day of filming, heavy rain fell suddenly on the outdoor location. Everyone frantically evacuated the equipment. The players ran into the tents. But one person was left behind. Song Zuer was stuck at the back of the set, unable to cross the slippery track due to wearing a heavy costume. "Zuer!" shouted Liu Yuning, so aware of his absence. Without thinking, he broke through the rain. Some of the crew tried to stop him, but he kept running. In the pouring rain, he found Song Zuer standing under a fake tree, hugging himself from the cold. Liu Yuning directly hugged him, covering Zuer's head with her own body. "Why don't you scream?" he asked, panicking. "I don't want to hurt the crew." "You can hurt me any time," Yuning replied, slowly but clearly. Some of the crew who managed to film the moment spontaneously immediately deleted it. There was an unwritten agreement between them. The moment was too sincere to be commercialized. On the verge of recognition. That night, at the Modest Inn they rented with the crew, Song Zuer knocked on Liu Yuning's room door. "May I speak to you for a moment?" Yuning nodded and let him in. Not many words came out. There was only a long silence, until finally Zuer said, "You know, I don't mind if people know about us." Liu Yuning looked at him deeply. "But we've never said that there is a we, right?" Zuer smiled. "Because you were so busy taking care of me that you forgot to mention it." Yuning chuckled, approaching. "All right. Then let me declare now. I like you, Song Zuer. Not as a co-worker, but as a woman. I think about it every time the camera stops recording." Zuer did not answer with a word. He just nodded and grabbed her hand. In silence, both knew. Everything had changed since that night. When the world finally knows. A month after filming was completed, the two returned to their respective activities. But the virtual world does not stop speculating. Then one morning, Song Zuer posted a photo to her Weibo account, a cup of ginger tea, with a simple caption underneath. "She's still making this tea, even when the camera is no longer on." Shortly after, Liu Yuning reposted it with the caption, "And I'll keep making it, as long as he's willing to drink it." Within 12 minutes, the news exploded. The media stated, "Official confirmation. Liu Yuning and Song Zuer were no longer hiding." Comments flooded. "Finally. I can sleep well now. It looked like it from the beginning. But still very sweet. Ginger tea, the national drink now." After confession. Despite their open relationship, Liu Yuning and Song Zuer maintained professional boundaries in subsequent projects. They do not sell intimacy to the public, do not appear excessive, but always show mutual support. In an exclusive interview, Song Zuer said, "He is not only a good partner, but also an actor who has made me thrive." Liu Yuning added, "Zuer made me understand that small attention can mean big. Even something as simple as ginger tea can unite two hearts." A romance that continues to burn. Now, years after the Red Sky in the East project was completed, the two are still together. No big drama, no excessive thrills. Only two people take care of each other and fall in love in silence. And whenever asked how it all began, Liu Yuning always replied with a smile, "Because he looks tired, and I can't leave him alone. It's that simple."